And then we are live. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. So, good afternoon. My name is Victor, and this is our ninth lecture. Today, we will be looking at introduction to regular expression. Regular expression is a huge topic in JavaScript. So, uh, regular expression talks about pattern matching and how to search for pattern in a string or in a set of data, especially string. So that is what we are actually going to look at today. And of course, it's your lesson teacher, Victor Okok. So let's see the topics we are going to cover. We'll look at what is a regular expression, creating a regular expression, match and the test method. So match and test method are there are other methods that regular expression offers to us, but for today we are going to look at match and test method, and we are going to look at their differences and how we can use them. Then we are also going to look at how to test for match, like test for matching, like a pattern match using regular expression. Then we are going to see how to use the ignore pattern modifier, or you call it the ignore flag. Then we are going to look at how the global flag or global pattern modifier is being used. Then we are also going to talk about regular expression character classes, which is actually used to form regular expression patterns without needing to write the letters literally. So you can set a range of letters or of numbers that should match what you want. So let's start. So what is regular expression? A regular expression is a sequence of characters that describe a search pattern. This is useful when you're searching for data in, let's say, a string, for example. You have a pattern which you want to search for in that string. So if you want to search for that pattern, you actually use regular expression to describe that pattern you want to search for in that string. Then regular expressions are objects. So of course, which means you can instantiate an object like a regular expression object using the new keyword. And you can use regular expression search pattern to describe what you are searching for. Of course, I've said that already. Then let's look at creating a regular expression. So there are two ways you can actually create a regular expression. So it can be created with the regexp constructor, or written as a literal value by enclosing a pattern in / characters. So if you want to use the regular expression constructor to create a new regular expression, you write it like this. You say let RA, or whatever I want to name this, because this is a variable name. So let RA, for example, equal new regular expression, or you use this / characters. So instead of, if it was a string, we would have used quotes here to open the string and close it. But since this is a pattern, that's why we are using / here. So this, whatever you're writing inside here, it could be a string, but it is actually a pattern that you can use to search for values in a string, for example. So let's look at match and test methods. So when you're testing for a regular expression in a particular string to see if it has that value or that pattern you're testing for, you use the test method, and then this test method returns true if there is a pattern match in that particular string you're trying to check that pattern for. So if I'm checking if there is hello inside a string, for example, no matter how many times that hello occurs in that string. As far as that hello occurs at least once in that string, test will return true. So to tell me that yes, it's true that there's a pattern or there's a string that matches that pattern I'm searching for, and it will return false if there is no pattern actually that matches um, what I'm looking for. So then you use dot match to return matches for all matches for a pattern, and you use match um, when you're trying to match. Let's say, for example, I search hello in a string, and then I want to see how many times that hello appears in that string. So I use match, and then I have to use match with the global flag. So, or the global flag. So that's to say, okay, search the whole string and give me the number of times this pattern exists in that string, and then send it to me back as an array. So the match pattern always sends back an array. So one thing to note with match pattern is that the match itself, the match method takes in a pattern as an argument, while test takes in string as an argument. So you're matching a pattern here against a string that you're going to use the dot notation to actually check. Then here you're testing a string if it has the pattern that you're going to put in here. That's before the dot. So let's continue. Test for match using regular expression. So we want to test for a match. So this is a simple example of testing for a match using regular expression. So regular expression objects have a number of methods. So the simplest one is the test or the test method. So the test method returns true if a string argument contains a match. We see that in this example when we say console.log, then we put this pattern here, say hello dot test, and then hello people. This is going to actually return true, or this is okay. This is going to return false because we are not ignoring the case. Let me show you how that works. So if I write console.log, then I say hello dot test, and I say hello world, hello world, and I run that, we see that a true actually comes back because there's a pattern match. So there's hello inside this string that we are trying to test. So we are testing this string against this pattern. We are trying to see if hello actually exists inside this string here. But if we change this to capital H and we run, we would see that we have a false. Of course, we know that hello with small letter is not equal to hello with capital letter. So in order for us to test this thing without actually worrying about the case sensitivities, we now put the I flag. So this I flag ignores the if it's whether it's capital or small letter, it ignores the casing for this string. So whether this appears totally in capital letter or in small letter, or if the first letter in that particular word is capitalized, it will still return true. So now if we do that, we'll see that we have a true as a return statement because we are actually ignoring the case. So this I actually stands for ignore. And of course, you can decide to break this into different lines instead of writing the whole thing in one line. So you can say let RE equals to, then you say um say hello, and then you can say let result equals to, and I'll say hello world. So if we do that, we say re.test, say results, there, we run it, we still see that it gives us true. If I remove this, I see that that would actually give us a false. Then another thing worthy of knowing is no matter how many times hello appears here, it is still going to give us true. No matter how many times it appears, it will only give us false if we remove hello, if hello doesn't actually appear in that string. Let's continue. Okay. We've seen this in action. Let's continue. You can break the example into like different lines of code. So that's what I just did. So we said R is equals to hello, result is equals to RA.test. So this is where you're testing. And then we said that test returns true or false. So when after testing, this evaluates to true. So yes, it's like saying result should be result is equals to true. So you now console.log out the result, which is a boolean that tells you true. So another thing we should look at, okay, I just explained this, how to use the ignore flag. The ignore flag in most cases when searching for a pattern. We saw how that actually works. Using RE, then we ignore the case. So whether what you're searching for is in capital letter or in small letter, as far as you're ignoring the case, it's not going to be conscious of that particular case. It's just going to search for it. Then I talked about the global function or the global method. So the global flag, okay, yeah, the global flag, sorry. So the global flag is used to check for the total match for a regular pattern on a string when used with the match method. So for example, we see this regular expression is equals to hello Josh, R is equals to hello Josh, hello people. Then we say let result equals to this RA dot match. Then we test it with this pattern. See, we can also use the ignore and global flags together. You can write I before G, you can write G before I, anyone would actually work out. If we test this out, we are going to see that hello and hello will be sent back to us in form of an array. Let's do that quickly. Okay, let's do that quickly. So I say hello world, hello people. Then here, what I just need to do is I just need to do that to change to, I just interchange the pattern. So I change this to match. If I do this now, it's going to only return the first hello. It is not going to return. Let me change this to small letter. So it's only going to return the first hello, which is what you're seeing here. And it tells you that that first hello starts at the index of 0. And this is the whole input that you're testing for. Then since we are not actually checking for groups or we are not grouping them, so we say here group is undefined. It returns this first one. So what about this second one? That's why we need the global function. So, or the global flag. So the global flag is going to check the whole string, even after it has seen a match. If we run that now, we see hello and hello is returned to us in form of an array. Then if, of course, if we console.log re and then test results, I would see a true coming back, which means, yeah, there's a pattern that actually matches what we are looking for. I hope you guys are following up to that extent. If you have questions, just ask on the comment section. How to use the global. So I hope you guys understand how to use the ignore and the global flags. Now, if you have any question, ask on the comment section. So I'm going to check that later on. Then let's now look at regular expression character classes. In here, you can specify a character class. So character classes are just fancy way for you to tell JavaScript, search for this pattern with either this character or this particular set of characters in mind. So like we see here, we have ABC in square brackets, and we say if we are using this particular notation, having ABC, for example, in square brackets, or it might not just be ABC, you can have any other thing inside here. We are saying you should match in this particular string, for example, you should match what we are searching for, where what we have here, for example, this L, let's say LAKE or LBKE or LCKE. So you are trying to say match one of the characters that has A or B or C. So in here, we are saying want to check for LKE, where the letter in between L and K should either be A or B or C. If we do that and we have this character or we have this string, and then we test for that pattern, we are going to see that we have LAKE, LBKE, and LCKE sent back to us, but we don't have LDK because we are not actually checking for that. If we actually put A, B, C, D here, then we'll have LAKE, LBK, LCKE, and LDKE here. But since we aren't doing that, that's why we are getting this result. If we want to practically do that, we are going to do this. I guess I'll just use this result and everything will still be the same. Oh, I could do something like, I said it has to be A or E or I. Sorry, it has to be A, E, I, O, or U. Any of them. So if we do that, this is what we are going to have. Okay, so I say hello, hello, hello. So if we test that pattern out, we say that hello, hello, hello is returned back to us because we are checking if it has this. You can repeat this somewhere else. You can say maybe this should be I or O. So if we had HELLI, for example, and we run that test, we see that hello too is returned here because we are checking if we have HELL. We are checking the total pattern is we are checking HALLI HALLO, HELLI, HELLO, HILLI, HILLO, HOLLI, HULLI, and HULLO. So that was a lot, but we are checking for all those patterns. You can use this. This is like saying H, where what is in between H and L should be A or E or I or O or U. Then what is at the end, which is this after LL, should be either I or O. So I hope you guys get like understand up to that point. So if you understand, just say like, yes, I'm following on the chat section. So I'll know that you're actually following. Coach Smile says we pray. Okay, Chimsum says following. Oh, who else? Who else? Is there anybody not following? If you're not following, say it. So I assume everybody is following. Okay, let's continue. So I've explained this. Now, what if you want to check if the pattern doesn't have the letters inside the square bracket? So you want to check where, let's say, for example, you have L and you have KE here, but you're saying that the letter in between L or the pattern in between L, or yes, let's say letter or string between L and K should not have A, should not have B, should not have C, but it can have any other letter. If you want to test for that, so that this is how you do it. You add this caret symbol where you say, so this is like saying, check this pattern that has L and KE, where the value that's in between L and K should not be A, should not be B, should not be C, but can be any other thing, can be any other letter. So if we test that against this string, what we would have as output is LDKE, because LAKE, we are saying A should not be in between L and K, B should not be in between L and K, C should not be in between L and K, but any other thing apart from A, B, and C can be in between L and K, and that is what we want to test for. So that's why the LDKE is being returned here. Then you can match characters from lowercase a to z. For example, we can use that same example, and we match whatever, like for example here we say LK, and then we say whatever is in between L and K should be in the range of A to Z. So it could be LBKA, LCKA, LYKA, L whatever KE from A to Z. And since we are using the global, if we didn't use global here, then when it comes and sees its first match, it will actually stop there. It won't check the string again till the end to check if there's any other match. But of course, using global actually makes it possible to check for all the strings if there is any other match after it has seen match already, like its first match. So if we use this pattern, we would have LAK, LBK, LCK, or LDKE as the strings sent back to us. Then you can search for, oh, I say lowercase. This is supposed to be uppercase. So you can match characters that are uppercase. So for example, here you say A to Z and they are in capital. So if we search for that here, we are going to see that we don't have any output. Instead, we are being sent null here. So this null means there's actually no match, or there's no match for this particular pattern. So there's no LKE that has capital A in between L and K, or capital B or capital Y or capital Z in between L and K. Of course, you can see that here now. So let me see. Has anybody asked any question? Okay. Said you're just joining. So you're just joining, I guess. Maybe I'll just so do I go over what I've said so far? Anderson Victor. So you're just joining. We are talking about regular expressions. So let me make this simpler. Oh, if I do this, if I put that caret symbol there, and then of course it is going to return null because we don't have, okay, if I change this to LBLLO, maybe sorry, HCLLO, so it's going to return these two because these two actually match the pattern. The simple way to understand regular expression is this pattern has to match. If you're using match for that particular string to be sent back to you, then if you're using test, this pattern you're trying to test for has to exist inside the string you're actually searching that pattern for. If it doesn't exist, if that pattern doesn't exist, you will be sent a false back. I hope that's clear. Okay, so he said, let me go over what I've done so far. So let me use this place. So we are talking about regular expressions, and we said that regular expressions are used to find patterns in a string. So, for example, you want to search for let's say hello, ELLO, for example, in a string. Of course, if you search for it now, it's definitely going to give you a false. Why? This pattern, I know you're seeing hello here, but hello with capital letter is not the same thing as hello with small letter. We are searching for this pattern in this string. So we are saying, is there any string, or sorry, is there any pattern in this string that has HELLO in small letters inside here? Of course, if we check, we see something close, but this one has a capital letter. But if I change that to small h and we run it now, then we are going to see that that is going to be returned to us. So hello is going to be returned to us. So now we can actually ignore the we can ignore case. So if we want to search for a pattern, but we don't want to be conscious about the case, what case it is, whether it is an uppercase or a lowercase set of letter, or a lowercase word, or whether it starts with a capital letter or not. You use what is called pattern modifiers or flags. So we have I as a pattern modifier that's I signifies ignore case. You put that outside here to actually tell JavaScript, as I'm searching for this pattern in this string, I don't really care if it's going to be in capital letters or small letters, but just show me that pattern. So if I do that, we see that we have hello returned back to us. We find out the index at which hello is returned to us. So hello starts with the index of 0. So if we had www and then hello, see that www is okay. We see that hello starts at the index of 4. We see the inputs, and then we see these groups equals to undefined, because there is no actual we are not using this grouping here, so it's not actually going to be defined. So we are going to cover what these groups are and some other things about regular expression in our next class. Then another thing is, if hello appeared twice, let's say I had another hello here and maybe another hello, for example. If we run, we would still have one hello sent back to us. Why? Because writing this is saying, when once you see a match here in this string, then don't worry about searching again. Just return that match to me and return the index and other attributes. But if you want to search for all the match for that pattern in a string, you add the G flag or the G pattern modifier. So that G pattern modifier signifies global. So you're saying search globally, like search the whole string for this particular pattern. And each time you see that a match to that pattern, send it back to me, like put it in an array and send it back to me. So if we run that now, we see hello, hello, and we see hello. We see that results array.test, as we are testing it, returns true to us. So that's true that we actually have a pattern. And then we see that we have an array of like the array contains string and it contains hello. So it contains the number, like the number of hellos that, or the number of patterns that actually match. I hope that is that's clear to you. So then we also looked at character classes. So Victor Anderson, I hope that's clear to you. So we also looked at pattern classes. So you can classify a pattern. So if I said I want to search for H, then a class of patterns, H class of patterns LLO, where that class of pattern or that pattern class should contain either A or E, for example. If I run that, we'll see HELLO, we'll see HALLO, we'll see HALLO and HALLO. So HALLO is now included because we are saying it has to have either A or E in between this H and LLO. It has to have A or E as the value there. You can add more of what you want. So it would have, if I had IOU, for example, so it would be that the pattern has to have H and LLO, and between H and LLO, you can have letter A, E, I, or string A, E, I, O, or U. So that's what we've been doing since. Then if you want to match patterns that are not actually these letters, but or this string, but they are other strings, then you use that caret symbol. So you're saying it shouldn't be A, it shouldn't be E, it shouldn't be I, it shouldn't be O, it shouldn't be U, but it can be any other thing. If we run that, we are going to see HBLLO and HCLLO. So since we are checking for the ones that, so in English language, so we're checking for the ones that don't have vowels here, that has consonants. So we have HBLLO and HCLLO as our result. Okay, so he says all clear. Then we looked at using A to Z. So A to Z. So if we use A to Z now, we'll have a lot. Of course, we have almost, I think we have everything back here. So this is saying whatever the string is here should be small letter A in the range of small letter A to small letter Z. So that's why we're having all this as the result. Of course, you can match capital letters. So if I did this, we would have no. Okay, I'm saying insensitive. It should be insensitive to the character. So if we do that, we'll have no. So this is interesting because you can use this to search for characters in a string without, the normal way we would have probably done this search pattern would have been to, let's say, write a for loop to check for words, or we split sentence like into different elements in an array. So a word, sorry, we split words in a sentence into different elements in an array. So a word will be an element in the array. Then we maybe loop through that array and then check for a particular word in that array or all the stuff. So that's like a longer way of doing the same thing. So, but regular expression makes it like simpler to us. So I've talked about that, A to Z, capital A to Z. So the last, okay, is not actually the last. So let's continue. We'll look at matching digits between 0 and 9. So of course, we can actually match digits to here. So we say regular expression should be at the range of 0 to 9, and then KE, then we are checking for it globally. So that globally means, even if we see a first match, we should still check for another match for that particular string. So looking at this, it's already self-explanatory that it won't check for letters, it will just check for numbers between 0 and 9. Another thing to know is you can modify, it doesn't have to be from 0 to 9. In fact, this also doesn't have to be from A to Z. You can say from B to Q, for example, or from B to W, or from Q to Z, for example. It doesn't have to start from A and end at Z. You can actually change this to whatever letters, range of letters you want to check that pattern for. And the same thing with numbers. It doesn't have to be from 0 to 9. It can be from 1 to 5. It can be from 2 to 8. It can be from 5 to 9, for example. And then another thing is you can actually match you can match single characters between A to Z or between 1 and 9. So this is like saying it can have letters between A to Z or numbers between 1 to 9. Of course, these are also editable. You can say you should start from W, for example, from W to Y, and it should start from 2 to 6, for example. So I hope you guys understand up to that point. Is there anybody that is missing out? Is there anybody that uh, doesn't understand? So if you don't understand, come to the chat section and say it. Or if you understand, just say, yes, I understand, so I can move forward. Are you guys there? Okay. So, uh, so we've talked about this, and then thank you very much for attending today's class. So, by the next class, we are going to go more in depth with regular expression. So, we are going to look at how to group. We are going to look at how to use some other um, characters. So, we are going to look at how to use characters like slash W, uh, all these characters and typing out. We're going to definitely look at how to use them, how to group. We are going to look at other advanced way of pattern matching, how to match repetitions of pattern. So if you have like HELELELELO, for example, how many times do you want the pattern to repeat before it would be a match? All those advanced concepts, we are going to look at it. So today was just an introduction to regular expression. So with is if there's no question, is there any question first? Any question? Hello? Anybody has any question? So in the absence of question, so we should call it a day today. So thanks a lot for uh, coming to today's class. I hope you learned one or two things.